All right, back in the studio. Every March 8th yearly, the International Women's Day is celebrated all around the world. It's also called the International Working Women's Day, celebrated March 8th every year. So we have in the studio Comfort Ogunye, Executive Director, Female Leadership Forum.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Hajia Abimbola Fawehinmi, the founder, Powerful Women of Purpose.
Thank you for having me.
And Diola Aziz.
Good to be here again. Thank you.
Okay, ladies, I happen to be the only man here.
Okay. You're safe.
Of course, I'm safe. Let's talk about the theme. Make it happen. Why this theme? Let me begin with you.
I think this year's theme, Make It Happen, it's just it's going to be one of those what UN came up with making it happen is like just any other slogan to celebrate the year differently. Otherwise, making it happen, women have always made it happen.
Here, here.
Yeah, we've always made it happen. We're right there. We're the mothers, the wives, the mistress, the sisters. I can go on and on and on. So making it happen, we have always done that. Okay? And I think maybe because of the situation that seems to be so similar all over the world, I'm talking of wars here and there, you know, insecurity, whatever you want to call it. Making it happen this time would be something has to be done that would now start to save women more and don't put them at the very end of every time there's a conflict. It is the woman that suffers more than anybody else.
Okay. Diola, the theme. Why do you think that theme was chosen?
For me, I think that theme was chosen for women to get out and do a bit more. We're not doing enough in Nigeria for the women folk. In saying that, I'm also relying on the government. I'm talking about women ourselves. Women are underrepresented in every sphere. Government, public sector, private sector, parliament. So that theme is speaking to us
I beg your pardon.
and telling us.
Whose fault is that? Because we had somebody in here
Yes.
last weekend who said that the women are their own enemies.
I watched that program. I felt like jumping into the studio.
I did too.
Through your
I
TV
felt
set.
like jumping into that studio. And I sent you an email. Now, when you say women are their own worst enemies, we should stop holding on to that. It is changing. Men, too, could be their own worst enemies. Why are we relying on this soft issue and not rising above it? I know women who are angry, who are ignited, who want to make it happen for Nigeria. The opportunities are not there enough. While I'm saying that, we as women as well are not stepping out. We're not saying, I can do it. We're not educated enough. We're not visible enough. Those that are visible are constantly being recycled and are being visible. There are a lot of women, and you know by my passion for women, and it's like a ministry I'm running, right? To identify women, young, middle-aged, and old. You need to see the voice, the passion, the desire for women in this particular political dispensation. I have never seen women, and especially in the corporate sector. Even in those women called the elitist, they are going out there, taking time from their work, from their bosses, and say, I want to go and collect my PVC. They are angry because you know what? They cannot sit in their comfort zone anymore. because it's impacting on us, it's impacting on our children, it's impacting on our community. So if we do not get up and we keep hanging on to that old myth, we are our own worst enemy. We don't support each other. True, we may not. But the same thing I am saying that applies to us, applies to the men in varying degrees. I know a lot of women who know that Ade has some political aspiration. And they're telling me, Ade, once you are ready, we will support you. Okay? All right. So my question is for you, the media, to begin to identify, because you sit here and you're guided by the pages of your newspaper. You're not doing enough due diligence. I watch Sunrise Daily every morning, 7 to 9. And all I see are men in the panel. All I see are men. They're talking about political, they're talking about PVC, they're talking about Jega, they're talking about... I haven't seen one woman, 2 women on a panel. What are your views? Our views matter. They count.
Most. They count most.
So why is it that the women cannot wake up at 6 a.m. to be here for the 7 o'clock show? I begin to wonder, and I really recall. I'm always saying, let me tweet to Bampe or to Chamberlain or to Miss Halede. Every morning is a whole one man after the other. It's not, I don't think it's not fair, but I guess it's the people you can reach that you go, but make an effort. Send your drivers to their homes, like you do for some of them. We're a voice, a critical voice that matters, that is important. You cannot afford to ignore. Forget the fact that women are pulling each other down. We have long gone past that.
Adiola, incidentally, I happen to be part of that team, and I will tell you.
I know.
And I will tell you.
Pointing at you as well.
And I know.
So
and I'll tell you that we do reach out to the women. As you said, most times, at the last minute, we hear something came up and I can't make it. And I'll be frank with you. We do reach out to them.
You reach out.
We make efforts sometimes to send vehicles to pick them up. And we get there, the vehicles come back empty.
Are they panicking?
I wouldn't know. Now you can help us answer that. So why is it that... let me ask you a question I asked my panelists yesterday in the Nigeria 2015 show. Opportunities are laid out for the women. And it looks as if they are not taking them. Why? For instance, the political parties, INEC told or insisted the political parties must give equal opportunities to the female aspirants.
Absolutely correct.
Now, if you look at all the aspirants that are out there, or the contestants that are out there, if there are 20, there's just about 1 or 2 women aspirants there. I mean, presidential race, there's 1 woman.
Absolutely.
The others are vice presidential candidates. So why is it that...
Before we get to that level, have you dug under to see why do we have such low representation? Have you found that? I'm sure you have. We've got a financing factor. We've got the work-life integration. We've got the lack of support. There's no mentoring for women in politics. The women that are out there who have made it there, with all apologies to all of them, I say it, what have they done to train younger women? Or do they get there, like all men, and forget where they're coming from? So it's something that is revolving, that is changing. It's not changing fast enough for us to see. We are 60%. Cecilia, you're sitting down here. And I know you've got certain views as well. You know some women there who can make the impact. And when they don't turn up, you say, do not say we didn't call you. And I don't know the women you're talking to. Are you talking to the right women? If you wake me up at 6 o'clock, it's an opportunity for me to hear my voice. If you ask me, I will put women to you. If you need them, I don't need to be here all the time. There's several women I can put you. They need the opportunity. But as women, again, like I said, we do not put ourselves out there enough to be visible, to be seen, to show the interest.
Indeed, we need to make it happen.
Well, you set the right tone for the discussion, and by connecting to the theme of this year's International Women's Day. Well, having said that, let me wish our viewers Happy Women's Day. Every March 8th is usually set aside to celebrate this day. But I think that the theme this year connects to the historical background that, that led to the global celebration of International Women's Day. Essentially, the day is used to look back and assess the past struggles of women. What had women done in the past? What had been their challenges? And then also look at what have they accomplished? What are their accomplishments? And also use a day like this to evaluate, to assess our hope, the opportunity, and even the potential for the future. And having said that, the history of Nigerian women, and I think Diola and Halaja here have rightly made that point, has been replete with struggles. Struggle from when you were a baby, your child, a girl child that is born. Of course, we know all that comes with it. You struggle through your adolescence, or you're going to school, recognition, sometimes even rejection. And then by the time you become an adult and you're working, there's also a lot that comes with it. The woman at the workplace, at your middle age as a mother, coping with children, and then even at old age. And so it's replete with struggles. And I think that essentially what the International Women's Day like this is meant to achieve is to help women and even men, because men are partners, is to help us look, what has been the struggles of these women? What have we done? What, for instance, she's talked a lot about women's political participation, and I know that even in our country today, there are quite a lot of the framework, the legal framework, encourage a lot of women to participate in politics and to even encourage as many women as possible to be economically empowered. So, and I think a day like this is to help us look at, is to help us assess how far have we gone. I mean, what are the milestones? Have we indeed achieved some of these benchmarks, some of these goals? And if we've not, what went wrong? Forward? I mean, what went wrong? What happened? So, are we going to set new goals? Are we going to set new standards? Are we going to revisit or to evaluate our past strategies and say, look, we need to strategize. This is what we need to be done. And I think that using that as a framework or as a benchmark, we can apply that to all the phases of issues, all the issues that are critical to women and that affect them, be it political, be it social, be it economic. You know, and I think that the platform, the media is a powerful and a very credible platform to begin to advocate for these kind of issues.